Good morning, distinguished guests, teachers and staff, parents and families, and of course, my fellow graduates, the class of 2019. I can't tell you how privileged and honored I am to be speaking on behalf of this year's graduating class. This speech is perhaps the most important thing I've done so far. So I've put into practice all the skills and lessons I've learned during the IB in writing and preparing for this. Thus, like a true IB student, I procrastinated until the last minute. Part of the reason why I was hesitant to start writing this was because I found myself at a loss for words. And why wouldn't I be? Yes. How could I even begin to encapsulate the experiences of these 246 amazing individuals in front of me? For a start, UWC has been a home for us in many ways. And this home is where we have created memories that will last a lifetime. From our gossip sessions at lunchtime with our closest friends, where we snaked our other friends, to experiences as a collective grade, like our Thursday morning meditation and dance sessions, each and every one of us is leaving with cherished and fond experiences. For those of you who have seen past graduation speeches, you may have noticed that every one of them has incorporated a flowery metaphor or an analogy to convey their message. And you may have been wondering, where's my metaphor? To be honest, I wasn't planning on using one. But then I was told it was in fact a mandatory requirement. So I thought long and hard for the perfect metaphor that precisely captures what I want to talk about. And finally, I realized it had been with me the whole time. Crowd surfing in the Kenny discotheque. Crowd surfing was not just the most exhilarating thing I've done in my life, but it also illustrates something more meaningful. Being pushed across the cafe as my friends and peers physically supported me highlights the way that we have all supported each other and been there for somebody during every step of our journey. And being able to crowd surf requires the highest levels of trust and faith. It requires people to put aside their differences and come together for one glorious moment. And that perfectly captures what UWC has done for us and what we need to continue to do. Coming together is such a difficult thing to do, especially in a situation where there is great diversity. And there aren't many places that have more diversity than this school. Just in our grade, we have people from over 50 nationalities and from different backgrounds. There are people who have been at this school since grade 2 for over 11 years of their lives, and others who have joined us in grade 11, coming from all over the world and bringing their own ideas. And we've had our fair share of ups and downs as a community coming together over these 2 years. We've seen strong signs of unity, such as the time we all attempted to get the EE final submission deadline shifted one day before the deadline. There have also been times where our unity hasn't been our strong point, such as that time recently when we were not all in this together. But something I feel strongly is that by and large, we have become closer over time. And I think that the reason for this was our growing empathy for each other and how we started to connect with and understand the people we may not have known. The impact of actions is magnified when done collectively. And nowhere do I think this was more clear than during our prank. The entire prank, from our rave in the best club in the world to our setup in the plaza, showed the power of collaboration and what we can achieve when we work together as a group. There is no doubt that this was and will be the greatest prank in UWC history. And the reason for this was because we did it together. So when I think of our legacy, I can't think of a better way to set an example for future grades than the way we did. It highlighted how far we've come and showed our exemplary levels of, dare I say, cohesion. And this spirit of togetherness and unity is what we need to take forward with us. The world's problems are too large and complex to be tackled on an individual level. So the changes we wish to see in the world can only come from reaching out to people, sometimes people who you don't agree with, but doing so regardless because it is the only way to achieve meaningful, long-lasting change. Now, this doesn't mean we all have to agree on everything, but it does mean we have to agree to respect and support each other. And I've seen that every day during my time here, and I know that each and every one of us is capable of doing so. We have a responsibility to bring about this change on behalf of the people who do not have the opportunities we do, and also to those who have guided us and shaped us into the people we are today. And on that note, it's time for a few thank yous. Firstly, a huge thank you to our teachers for many things, more than I have time here to acknowledge. Over these last 2 years, we've not always been the best at handing work in, so thank you for accepting our really bad excuses for extensions. Like the good old, my Turnitin isn't working, to the more sophisticated, submitting a blank document or corrupted file on Turnitin and then saying, my Turnitin isn't working. But on a more serious note, thank you for being more than just teachers. Thank you for being a support system when we needed it and helping us get through some of the toughest times in our life. And thank you for never giving up on us, even when we were ready to give up on ourselves. We are deeply grateful for everything you have done to help us grow, not just as students, but as human beings. We love you all very much. To all the non-teaching staff, we may not always see the work that you put in, but we know that without all of you, this school wouldn't be able to function. So thank you. We appreciate every single one of you, from all the admin assistants, especially Cheryl, who has booked and sent numerous calendar invites in these last 2 years, to the lady in the naan line, who always gives me extra paneer. Thank you for always having a smile on your face and helping us out in whichever way you could. It meant a lot to us, even if we didn't let you know at the time. And finally, I'd like to try thanking the most important people in our lives, the ones without whom we wouldn't even be here. The ones who have always been there for us from the very beginning. These are the people that have seen us at our worst and helped us get through the tough times and celebrated with us during our moments of joy. I am, of course, talking about Rebecca and Ted. Just kidding. I'm obviously referring to all the staff at Math Vision Center. Seriously though, to our families, and especially our parents, thank you for your unconditional love, and for everything. I could have devoted this entire speech to just thanking you, but even that wouldn't come close to acknowledging everything you have done for us in the last 17 to 19 years. We may not know the extent of your sacrifices for all of us, and we certainly will never truly be able to repay you for all that you have given us. You have been our source of strength and hope, and occasionally our source of distress, sorrow, and despair, especially during exam time. However, despite the suffering we went through at the time, I think we can all agree that without all of you, we wouldn't be sitting here and smiling. So thank you for rushing to buy us biro pens during the great gel pen fiasco of May 2019. And finally, thank you for not following through with your plans for a post-grad service trip to Koh San. We're beginning the next steps of our journey, and as much as I wish I could, unfortunately, I don't have much advice to offer, because I'm going to be on that journey right with you. But if there's one thing I've learned from my time here, it's that the journeys we take and the memories we forge are made immeasurably better when we have others to share it with. So if there's one thing I would urge you all, it would be to carry on the spirit of community and cohesion that we have cultivated and spread. In the journey ahead, there are certain big questions that will inevitably pop up. What is our purpose? How do we want to be remembered? And most importantly, who was exposing East? These are big, complicated questions without one right answer, but we can begin to answer it through our actions and with our voices. And as a grade, we've never shied away from doing so for what we believe in, as seen in our hard-fought struggle to call ourselves seniors. So class of 2019, in conclusion, keep doing what you have always been doing, and everything else will sort itself out. I wish you all the best of luck in everything you do in the future. I love you all, and I will miss you all very much. Thank you.